Hello. Happy Monday to everybody. So I'm popping in on a Monday today, this week. It is very dull, wet and rainy here, so it's a great day for me to show you what I've been creating in my craft room. I hope you are having a creative day wherever you are. And yeah, that you get to make something that you love today. So I'm going to flip the camera around straight away and show you what I'm going to be making for you today. I'm also going to be saving this to my YouTube channel. So I'll be doing a Facebook Live and then saving it to my YouTube channel, so you can rewatch over there. You can also rewatch on my page here any time if you want to follow along and yeah, remind yourself of how I made these. These are some shaker cards that I made at a recent class at the Garden in Wollongong, and they feature a stamp set that is actually part of one of our card making kits, the You Are My Anchor kit. So this kit actually comes with a fabulous stamp set. Let me see if I can find the stamp set. Here we go. So it comes with all of these fabulous images and quite a few different greetings for you to use for different occasions. And yeah, there's an anchor, there's a lighthouse, which we're featuring, a wheel, a ship's wheel, a little yacht, a starfish, a smaller anchor. There's even some birds. So you can create a scene, do some scene building with this little stamp set. I'm also bringing in a stamp from the Grassy Grove bundle, which is this lovely stamp here. It's one of my go-to stamps for creating. You can even create an ocean floor scene with this because it almost looks like coral. But we're creating a landform for our lighthouse to sit on. So I have already got a piece of basic white paper here to stamp my little scene onto. I'm going to use Mossy Meadow ink to ink up my stamp. I like to ink up the whole stamp because sometimes I don't know which part of the stamp I'm going to be using. So you just kind of slide it along and sort of see where you might want your land to be. I'm going to have it sort of sloping off that way, and my lighthouse is going to be sitting on the top of the hill. So my scratch paper will catch the rest of it. So there's our land. Next, I'm going to stamp my lighthouse, and that's from the You Are My Anchor stamp set. When one of our stamp sets that retired had a lighthouse in it, I was very sad because it was one of my favourites. But now I've got a lighthouse stamp again. Just make sure that's inked up in Night of Navy, and I'm just going to plonk it down. So it's got a little bit of foliage in front of it, but you could be able to see most of that lighthouse sitting on the top of the hill there. Alrighty, and next I'm going to grab my basic grey ink pad, which I will be using for the birds. There are some little birds in this stamp. There's 3 of them. So I could stamp about 3 times just to kind of get the feeling of birds in the background. I didn't re-ink that one just to kind of help them fade off into the distance a little bit more. So there's my birds. Now I'm going to actually colour in the stamp, the lighthouse with my Stampin' Blends. I'll use the light balmy blue and the dark balmy blue. I'll start off with the dark, and this will actually fill in the lighthouse image a little bit just to make it look more solid, because at the moment it kind of looks a little bit see-through. It looks like it's just a line art stamp, but when we colour it, it actually gives it that look of being solid and it makes it more realistic. So here's my light balmy blue, just blending that out there. Okay, so now I'm happy with the look of my lighthouse. It looks like a real lighthouse sitting on the top of the hill there. So that's ready to go. I'll put that to the side. Now what I have done is I've pre-cut a frame, and that's from the silver foil 12 by 12 specialty pack from the annual catalogue. You'll see that, and it's got some lovely lovely coloured silver in there. It's almost like a bluey grey, so it tones in really well with our Night of Navy. And what I'm going to do is just I've already cut a window sheet as well. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that's all ready to go, and I'm going to just stick that on with some glue dots, which I will grab. So this just goes directly behind on the underside of my frame. I cut the frame, incidentally, using the stitched rectangles framelits is what they're called, and I just cut them both at once. I cut one on the outside and one on the inside, so I have stitching both on the outside and around the inside of the frame, as you'll see if I turn it back over. And it just gives it that lovely, it's got a lovely sheen to it. It's not too sparkly, so it's a little bit understated, so whatever's in the frame will definitely be the highlight. So you can see I'm popping one glue dot in each corner, and I've also popped one in the middle of each of the sides. So now I'm ready to go and plonk that down straight on the underside of my frame, so that you can't see anything from the outside. So if you can catch a little glimpse of one of the glue dots, just come to just grab your scissors or your paper piercer and just push that back under, because you don't want to see any adhesives from the front. You just want that window to be nice and clear. And then what we're going to do is grab another product from the back of our catalogue. This is in the adhesive section. And these are the foam adhesive strips. I've got one stuck to the outside of the packet here, which I'll use most of. These are called the foam adhesive strips, and they are cut all ready to go. They're double-sided sticky. So when you apply them to your shaker card window, I'm just applying that to the window sheet, and I'll just tear that off. These actually tear, you don't need to use scissors with them. So just use as much as you need, and then you can just pop the rest back onto the wax paper that comes in the pack. So I'm just following this along. I'm making it as close as I can to the gap in the window, but not so that I can see the foam adhesive tape. I want that to be invisible from the front of the card. The other important thing is that you don't want any gaps. So you just want to butt that up against each little section as you go, and make sure, I'll just cut this last one to make sure it's exactly the size that I want it to be, so that there's no gaps for your sequins to fall out when we pop them in a second. All right, so just press that down really firmly. And then what you can go ahead and do is grab each of those strips of wax paper and peel them off to expose the sticky. And you remember we have stamped our scene already, so I'm going to grab that, and that then just gets placed straight over the top. Oh no, before that we've got to put our sprinkles in. Gosh, I nearly forgot. All right, so here are our sprinkles. These are actually from, some of you were going, no, don't do that. Don't do that yet. We've got to put our sprinkles in, which of course makes it into a shaker card. These sprinkles, I just want to show you where they come from. They come in a pack of 3 different colours sprinkles. These are the blue ones that I'm using. And they're called the For Everything Fancy Sequins. Okay, so they're not sprinkles, they're sequins. They're $27, but you get heaps in the pack. They're actually quite large. I've used quite a bit of mine because I've done a couple of classes with this card in it so far, but you'll end up with heaps and heaps. So you really just need a good pinch, and by that I mean just pop 3 fingers into your sequins and grab the pinch out, and you'll end up with a whole lot of different sequins. Just make sure they all end up landing in the middle, and that is plenty of sequins for your shaker card. You don't want to have too many, and I'll show you why. So now you're ready to pop your scene on. It doesn't really matter which way around it goes, but obviously we want to stick it onto the card so that our scene is not upside down. So just go ahead and smooth that little pouch together so that you've got a good seal, and then turn it over and you'll see what I mean. See how the sequins, they're just enough to rattle around, so you want them to be able to move around inside that window, but they don't cover your stamping when this card is standing up like that. So that little window now is ready to go onto a card. I have used the black and white and grey scale paper. This is in the Halloween section of our mini catalogue, our current mini catalogue. I'm just using a bit of Stampin' Seal on the back. I really liked the grayscale, the black and white, the black and grey stripes for this card. I think it gives it a really nice background. So go ahead and lay that on like that. And then you're going to wrap some twine around. This is the Basics twine. It's got all the lovely neutral colours in it. I'm going to wrap this around twice. I think this is the soft suede twine from memory. And I'm going to go ahead and do a knot here because I actually want to attach a little tag. Now, where's my little tag gone? I have... There it is. So this is actually punched out from the All That framelits from the He's All That bundle. It's in the annual catalogue. And this little arrow is perfect for pretty much all of the greetings in this stamp set. You saw some of the greetings as I showed you the stamps that come in the You Are My Anchor card kit. There's a lot in here, guys, so it's a really versatile set. Hi, Michelle. I was up your way on the weekend. We actually saw Rapunzel's party play at, in Bowral on Saturday. So anyway, I wanted to just show you how many greetings you've got in here because it is a great stamp set. And it's one of those kits, as with all our kits, is when you run out of all the bits and pieces, let me show you what actually comes in there. The kit actually has some little gift boxes, and it's got enough to make, I think, about 10 or 15, or maybe 8, I can't remember, cards. I think there's quite a lot of cards, the little note cards, and you can pop any greeting that you like. So this is as per instructions. My cards that I've made here, and they fit perfectly inside the little gift box, which you can incidentally use separately. It is a great kit to get for guys. It was fun. It was fabulous. It was so good to catch up with our mutual friend Glenn and see her band. It was a year since they played live, so it was lovely to see them in person. Yes, so I am going to use that little tag that I've already punched out, and I'm going to just stamp For You. And that's going to be in Night of Navy. And you'll see how perfect this is. This little tag is for just these. It's almost like it's made for it. So there's the For You. I'm going to use my scissors and I'm going to cut just enough off there so I can still do a bow, because I think I want to do a bow on this card, even though it could be a masculine card, it could be for anybody really. And because we haven't stuck this down yet, I actually still have a little bit of space to wriggle, a little bit of wriggle room, so I can actually slide this over if I wanted to. And just have it coming off the other side. I'm just going to slide, and then it's going to come off the right hand side, which I think looks a little bit better. And then that is ready for me to stick on to my card. So let me just apply a little bit more Stampin' Seal. I love Stampin' Seal, because there's no drying time, and it really does stick things down good and firmly, especially when you're putting something a little bit more heavy on a card and you want it to display it maybe straight away after you've made it, which I will do. So there you go. There's my card, and Can you hear that? I love the interactive nature of shaker cards. Here's my original. This one says ahoy. And this one, I guess, could be a thank you card. You're a lifesaver. You could send it to somebody who has helped you out with something recently. It's always a really nice way to say thank you, sending someone a card. Thank you, Michelle. I love using the stamp sets that are in the kits. If you haven't got this kit yet, can I recommend it? And have a go at making some extra cards, maybe even some tags, maybe even some framed pieces with it, because it really is a beautiful set. You'll find it in my online store. You can hop on there 24/7, and there's the address. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll be back with more a little bit later on. Thanks, guys. Bye.